The MP Concepts upper replacement grill that we have here would be a great choice for the 2018 through 2020 owners out there who want to add some Raptor-inspired vibes, but would prefer to keep that factory blue oval emblem proudly displayed front and center of the grill. Now, this grill will pack a durable automotive-grade ABS plastic construction, along with the matte black finish and LED accent lighting, all for the low $200 price point. Site's going to call this one a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Definitely take you an hour or two to complete from start to finish. But if you hang with me for a bit, guys, we'll walk you through that job step by step later in the video. So swapping grills on your F-150 is a relatively easy, sometimes inexpensive way to totally change up the look of the front end and switch up the tone of the entire truck in general. Now, on that same topic, one of the nice things about the grill category in particular is just the sheer number of options out there, ranging from mild to wild and really everything in between. In fact, I always encourage you guys to feel free to browse the rest of our selection for the 2018 through 2020 trucks here at AmericanTrucks.com just to get a better sense of what I'm talking about. So to my eyes, this grill delivers a nice balance of Raptor styling and maybe a small touch of Super Duty styling thanks to that bold center bar running the width of the entire grill. Now, this is going to retain that iconic blue oval, and that's something that every grill option is going to offer. As far as that Raptor inspiration is concerned, well, it's pretty obvious, right? You've got that same kind of honeycomb design going on, along with maybe the most important part when we're talking Raptor inspiration, which are the 3 amber LED running lights here across the top of the grill. Materials are going to be very similar to that of your factory grill as well, guys. You're looking at a durable and lightweight ABS plastic in black here, something I really like. And this has been designed using OEM Ford CAD data, which is basically just going to allow this grill to fit perfectly without any weird gaps or imperfections. Last but not least, the grill does include, again, those 3 amber LED running lights and the wiring needed to get them up and running. And one thing I did want to point out about those lights in particular, as they kind of finished off in a smoked appearance here, or smoke lens, which will add to a slightly stealthier nature of the lights in general. Now, speaking of which, those lights will tap into the factory headlights, just meaning anytime your parking lights or your headlights have been switched on, those 3 amber LEDs are going to fire up as well. But now we just want to shift gears, talk a little bit more about that installation, guys, and to give you a better idea of what you're in for, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown right now.
Tools for this install: wire crimper, Phillips head screwdriver, trim removal tool, 8mm deep socket, 10mm deep socket, an extension, ratchet, or impact. Now, this is going to be a fairly simple install with exception of a little bit of wiring. First thing we're going to do is take off the rad cover so we can get the grill removed. Let's get started. Go ahead and grab your clip removal tool. There's a series of pop clips all throughout the rad cover and a couple at the inlet of the cold air intake. We'll start by removing those now. Now we can get our rad cover taken off. It's going to be a slight tug up, get it under the inlet, pull that right out. Next, we're going to grab our 8mm socket and get these 4 bolts at the top of the grill removed. Next, we're gonna grab our 7mm socket. You're gonna have 2 bolts here. Our truck's missing 1. We're just gonna get ours removed here so we can get the fascia off underneath the headlight. And we're gonna repeat the same on the other side. Now again, after we have those 7mm bolts out, we are just gonna take off the fascia, work your way around, and don't be afraid to give it a little tug. Next, we're gonna take our 8mm socket with a small extension so we can get this bolt out here from underneath the headlight. Now we're gonna do the same with the other side. Now with these bolts removed, we can now remove the grill. Don't forget to pull your harnesses out from the back of the grill in the center. That way you don't hyperextend that when pulling the grill off. Now it's just gonna be a slight tug forward to get the grill off. Now that we have our grill removed, what we're gonna do is take off our active grill assembly, starting with the 5 pop clips up at the front. After you get those pop clips removed, we are actually going to take out the bolts that we have in 5 different places. Now our grill assembly is missing a couple, but normally there would be 5. We are gonna grab our 10mm socket and get those unthreaded. Again, normally we would have 1 in each corner here. However, we only just have 1. So we're just gonna get that one unthreaded as well. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. Now with all bolts and clips removed, you can now get the active assembly removed from the grill. It's just gonna be a simple tug. And we're going to reuse this. Now that we have our active grill assembly removed from the back of the OEM grill, we're gonna go ahead and take off the Ford emblem here so we could transfer it to our new grill. We're gonna take our 10mm deep socket and remove the nut from the back of the emblem. Now with those removed, we could simply lift up and remove our emblem. While still working on the back side of the grill, make sure you grab these mounting bolts for the active grill assembly. There is a total of 4 in 4 corners. Now that we've taken everything that we need from the OEM grill, we could start putting our aftermarket grill assembly together. We're gonna start by placing the emblem on the front here and flipping it over and tightening it down. While you are still on the back side, go ahead and grab your amber marker lights and get those situated using a Phillips head screwdriver and the provided screws in the kit. Now we can grab our active grill assembly brackets. They are designated by side, R for R, L for L. Grab the screws provided in the kit and go ahead and tighten these down. And we'll go ahead and repeat the same on the other side. Grab the mounting bolts for the active grill assembly and place those in the bracket. Do the same thing on the other side. At this time, go ahead and grab the headlight clip bracket, place it and get that screwed down, again using your Phillips head screwdriver and kit provided screws. And we're going to go ahead and repeat that on the other side. Now we can take our wiring harness for our amber lights and go ahead and start getting those connected. And we are going to run this out of our driver's side of the grill. Now we can get our active grill assembly put onto the back of our MP Concepts grill. Now we can get our active grill mounting bolts tightened down. And we'll take our 10mm socket and secure that down. We'll go ahead and repeat that in all 4 corners. Now that your grill's assembled, it is time to get into some wiring. Now the instructions call for running it to the fuse box, however we are going to run it to our running light here since we have already tapped into the running light. Keeping up with the theme of a 10mm socket, we're going to go ahead and get the bolts on top of the headlight removed. Grab your trim removal tool and go ahead and get this plastic pop clip removed. Continuing with our 10mm socket, we're going to go ahead and get these bolts on the side of the fender removed. Another 10mm bolt underneath the front of the headlight. And just to change it up on you, it's going to be a 8mm bolt right at the front of the headlight. Now with our hardware removed, we can get our headlight out. And unplug our harnesses. Now that we have our headlight assembly out, as I've said, we have already tapped into our running light. Black with yellow trace would be your ground. Green with orange trace would be your power. We're gonna go ahead and get some butt connectors on the end of the grill lighting wires and get everything connected. With our amber lighting now wired in, we can now start putting our headlight assembly back together. And now we can put the grill assembly back on the truck. Take our fascia and get that back in place. Get your active grill harness plugged back in. And now we can start getting our pop clips and radiator cover in place. And that's going to wrap it up for this review and install of the MP Concepts upper replacement grill with LED daytime running lights, fitting all 18 to 20 F-150s, excluding the Raptor. For more cool content and install videos just like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button at AmericanTrucks.com.